I've always been a huge fan of foldables, ever since the first Samsung Galaxy Fold back in 2019, and over time I've used foldables from Samsung, Google, Honor, as well as Oppo, OnePlus, and more. And I've been really hoping that Apple would finally make their own foldable too. Well, if you've been following the channel, you probably know that they are actually working on one, and that one is apparently releasing as early as next year. So here's a recap of everything to expect from the iPhone Fold, alongside a bunch of exciting updates. Okay, but first, what will the iPhone Fold look like? And would it be a book-style foldable or a flip-style foldable? Well, as a reminder, Apple has explored several foldable designs, including a vertical clamshell and a horizontal book-style model. Early 2024 testing pointed towards the clamshell approach, but 2025 reports now favor this book-style design. In this version, the iPhone Fold would have a small outer display and camera for use when closed, and then a larger tablet-like screen when opened. Speaking of the screen, according to Digital Chat Station on Weibo, it may come with a 7.76-inch inner display with a resolution of 2713 by 1920 and also with an under-the-display camera, while the outer screen could be 5.49 inches at a resolution of 2088 by 1422 and with a hole-punch camera. Jeff Pu, on the other hand, who's a reliable analyst, suggests that Apple is currently testing two potential screen sizes on the inside, a 7.9-inch version and a larger 8.3-inch version, similar to the iPad mini. Either way, the iPhone Fold should be quite similar to the first-gen Google Pixel Fold, with this passport-style look when closed and this iPad mini-like look when opened. By the way, if any of these wallpapers from our concepts catch your eye, they're all from our app wallpapers. Now, about that display, this is where Apple's secret weapon may come into play. There are quite a few reports that Apple is apparently working on an entirely crease-free display, something that I mentioned in our previous videos too, where they're working on developing a material that makes the crease nearly invisible when unfolded. Essentially, they plan on using ultra-thin glass, likely supplied by Lens Technology with materials from Corning in order to achieve this. Personally, I don't think creases on modern foldables are much of a problem. The Z Fold 7 and the Oppo Find N5 already have an almost invisible crease, so I don't think it's that much of a problem to solve. Still, Apple is solving it, which I'm really glad to hear. Okay, so what about the build of this iPhone Fold? Well, analyst Jeff Pu says that the foldable iPhone may use a mix of titanium and aluminium. Titanium for the load-bearing parts to prevent bending, and then aluminium elsewhere to improve heat dissipation and keep the device lightweight, although no credible rumors about the weight have surfaced yet. But then Ming-Chi Kuo, on the other hand, says that Apple will be using stainless steel instead of titanium. And I'm not really sure what to think here, as stainless steel would make it even heavier. So what about the thickness? Well, it's said to have a thickness of around 4.5mm when unfolded and around 9 to 9.5 when folded. That would actually make it on the thicker side. Keep in mind that the Z Fold 7 measures in at 4.2mm when open and 8.9 when closed. So having this iPhone Fold be thicker 1 year after the Fold 7's introduction won't be that impressive at all. Now, hinges have always been the place where we've seen the most changes year on year, and I'm really curious about Apple's approach here. Reportedly, in order to reduce the display crease, Apple is expected to use a liquid metal hinge that boosts durability and outperforms hinges in the current foldables. This approach could help eliminate the crease issues that we've seen in other devices. Now, liquid metal is an amorphous alloy formed through rapid heating and cooling. It's highly resistant to bending and deformation. It's also stronger than titanium alloys and also has a stainless steel appearance. Speaking of appearance, early leaks point to just white and black as the colors, although Apple may add a bonus hero color or even two to make things more interesting. Personally, I'm pretty convinced that they'll take a one more thing approach here, much like they did with the iPhone X, where the device represented a major design shift that didn't really need any special colors to stand out. The device itself and its design made it stand out. And then once the second generation, the iPhone X, arrived, that's when Apple began experimenting with different finishes and colors, like gold in that case, to freshen things up. With that in mind, I expect the first gen iPhone Fold to stick to white and black, with the second gen likely to introduce a brand new color. So what about the cameras? What can we expect to see here? Well, according to the latest reports, the iPhone Fold may use an under-the-display camera on the inside and a single hole punch on the outside. The internal camera likely won't support Face ID, as Apple said to be using Touch ID instead. However, the good news is that this could be a 24 megapixel camera, possibly the same one found in the iPhone 18 and 18 Pro. If you haven't seen our iPhone 18 and 18 Pro videos here, you can check them out. Fun fact, the iPhone 17s already come with a 24 megapixel selfie camera, but only the 18 megapixel part of it can be used at once, either in landscape or in portrait orientation. So with the iPhone Fold and the new iPhone 18 Pros, Apple could be making full use of that 1x1 sensor, allowing us to take square selfies as well. What's even more impressive is that this new camera could actually be an industry first, as most under-display cameras are around 4 megapixels in resolution, such as the one on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. So going from 4 megapixels to 24 would be huge. As for the back cameras, Apple is expected to use a main and an ultra-wide lens, both at 48 megapixels, which would then match the current cameras we've got on the iPhone 17 and the upcoming iPhone 18. Although I'm quite sad to see that we won't be getting a telephoto here, something that Samsung does have on their Z Fold 7. So what about its battery? How long would it last for? Well, some of the early rumors point towards a 5400 to 5800 mAh battery. Ming-Chi Kuo also mentioned that Apple is likely to use the same high-density batteries like in the iPhone Air and the new MagSafe battery, which further shows me that the iPhone Air is a test, sort of a prototype for the upcoming iPhone Fold, where Apple is testing certain technologies before launching the next big thing, which is this iPhone Fold. And although these batteries won't be using silicon carbon technology, they're still an improvement over the current generation iPhones. Even an improvement over the similarly sized iPad Mini 7, which has a battery capacity of just over 5,000 mAh. 5400 to 5800 would actually be very similar to Samsung's newly released Trifold, which comes with a 5600 mAh battery, and much larger than the Z Fold 7's 4400 mAh battery. Although I wouldn't be surprised if with the Z Fold 8 coming next year, Samsung switches to silicon carbon tech for much larger battery capacities. As for charging, we don't actually have any leaks yet, so I think the current charging speeds of 35 watts that we have on the iPhone 17 lineup and the M5 iPad Pro are the safest bet here. As for the performance, we're expected to see the Apple A20 Pro chip just like the iPhone 18 Pro series. This is a 2nm chip built on TSMC's new WMCM technology, which essentially brings the RAM onto the chip module itself for even faster performance. And just like the iPhone 18 Pro, it will probably use the same C2 modem, which is said to be a big upgrade from the current C1X inside the iPhone Air and the C1 inside the iPhone 16e. That's because this will finally bring back millimeter wave 5G in the US, and of course, it should also be more power efficient than previous versions, making that decently sized battery last even longer. And according to Instant Digital on Weibo, it seems like the iPhone Fold will be eSIM only, just like the iPhone Air and the iPhone 17 Pro lineup in the US. So how much are we expecting the iPhone Fold to be priced at? Well, according to Mark Gurman, it will very likely exceed $2,000, making it the world's most expensive foldable. At least a foldable that's not a trifold. Ming-Chi Kuo, on the other hand, claims that it could cost around $2,400, making it about the same price as Samsung's new Trifold. And that's just insane, especially considering that even if Apple were to launch it today, they wouldn't have the best foldable hardware on the market. The cameras won't be the best, it also won't be the thinnest or the lightest, so I don't know, especially if they launch it next year, at the end of next year, for that price, yeah, I'm not sure if it's gonna do well, but at the same time, it is an Apple product running iOS, and I do expect a lot of iPadOS elements, the multitasking, to be implemented there as well. As for the release date, like I said, that's expected to be at the end of next year, specifically in September, alongside the iPhone 18 Pro and 18 Pro Max. Now, there were some mentions of a potential delay, mostly due to the Hinge, that's a bit more tricky to manufacture. That's coming from Mizuho Securities, a Japanese investment and banking firm. There haven't been any other sources mentioning this delay, so I'm hoping that it won't actually be delayed, as I've been waiting for this iPhone Fold for so many years now. And if it does come next year, I'm definitely going to be switching to it as my primary iPhone, and then probably use, I don't know, the Vivo X300 or 400 Pro next year as my secondary phone. the camera phone. So yeah, let me know what do you guys think. Would you be picking up this iPhone Fold, especially for such a high price point? Let me know down below. Check out our app wallpapers for some stunning designs. I'm Daniel, this is ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.